Hey, what is up guys? It's your boy Speed here, and today we're going to be watching a Legion Commander game. I've been seeing this hero have quite a bit of success, so I thought why don't we take a look at a little bit of Legion Commander gameplay. In particular, the build I've seen the most as of late is the Blade Mail build up. And I'm definitely a fan of Blade Mail because this item has been buffed quite a lot. First of all, 2 patches ago, the duration was increased from 4.5 to 5.5, a massive buff in the duration of Blade Mail. And then from there, in the most recent patch, 7.32D, the active damage return was increased by 5%, and the damage return no longer interrupts channeling when cast. So basically, as far as I'm concerned, you can cast Blade Mail while channeling. So as far as I'm concerned, that's pretty cool with a hero like Legion Commander. When you duel someone, you can then click Blade Mail a little bit later if you want, right? Maybe you duel a support who doesn't really do anything to the Blade Mail. You can then save it for afterwards for when you're actually getting gone on, maybe in the back half of the duel. So I don't think it's like super applicable or like the main reason why Legion's good. However, the Blade Mail buffs are massive, right? The other two, the duration and then 5% increase, it's a big deal, right? It really makes a big difference in how effective this item actually is, for sure. Also, I want to tell you guys that if you've been struggling with solo queue and you're looking to get to the next rank, I'm going to be able to help you. Like literally with the Game Leap website, I'm going to give you guys guides that are going to make it unbelievably clear on what you need to do. So if you've been stuck in the solo queue grind, you don't know what to do, and you want to become absolutely broken, but like actually you want to become much better at Dota, and you want to take it more seriously, the Game Leap website is going to help you do that. So click the link down below. I'm going to help you get to the next rank, and I'll see you there. We're going to see double creep aggro to start the lane. The main thing you want to do as Legion is, honestly, in the early levels, you got to be a little bit careful. You only have 3 armor. You have extremely good movement speed, though. And so this hero is very good at kiting out and playing relatively passive, as we see a nuke onto 2. Anytime you can hit the full wave and 2 heroes with Legion Q, you're going to get pretty good value out of the spell, so you definitely can consider that. From there, he picks up a Bracer, which, actually, I'm not going to lie, I'm not a huge fan of Bracer. I think that this item is overall pretty bad. Obviously, it doubles at minute 25, and then it becomes okay, but even then, I would actually recommend buying Wraithband over Bracer. I personally don't like Bracer at all. I think the regen you get from Bracer is pathetic. It's honestly pathetic. Yeah, it gives some decent stats, but you don't get more stats from upgrading the Bracer. The only thing you get from buying the recipe is 0.75 HP regen. Mangoes, which cost 65 gold, give 0.6 for a little bit of perspective, and then you get 2 damage. So I'm not a fan of Bracer almost ever. I think it's just not worth it, straight up. I think Wraithband recipe, it gives much more, right? Because it gives 2 armor, which usually costs 175 gold in the Ring of Protection. And then it also gives 6 attack speed, right? Which is kind of just an added bonus. So big fan of the Wraithband. I think the doubling of Wraithband is nice later on into the game, as attack speed with Legion is very good, as this hero typically has a lot of damage. Either way, in terms of the early levels, he puts a second point into E. Of course, in some lanes against like Chikiro, I would expect that he would take Prestige Attack to purge Dual Breath or Poison Touch from a Dazzle, whatever it is. Obviously, there are really good lanes for Prestige Attack, but in my opinion, this definitely seems like a max overwhelming odds lane, as he'll skill that up. You can buy a couple mangoes, the Sage's Mask from your Falcon Blade eventually. No, he missed a Flag Bearer CS. Yeah, I love how he puts the... Anytime you miss a Flag Bearer, your heart just drops. At least for me. Anytime I miss a Flag Bearer CS, I just get so sad. I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe it. And the main thing you want to focus on is definitely CS. You can run at people. He's in a pretty difficult lane to run at people because the sniper's constantly really far away. So of course that's not a great option, at least not at the moment. But usually once you get level 3 and you have boots, your hero, after you Q, has like 420 movement speed. And if you happen to be higher on HP because you've been spamming Qs, you can chase people down, and that's typically the gameplay with Legion early on. And we'll actually see exactly that when the phase boots timing comes out. And the phase boots timing is the major timing on Legion, because your Q gives you movement speed, overwhelming odds, right? The more units you hit, the more movement speed you get. And that synergizes incredibly well with a phase boots, right? Which give you percentage-based movement speed based on your current movement speed. You just can nearly go haste movement speed in the lane, as we'll see that come out here, right? As he gets Cookie. Didn't even use his Q yet, so doesn't even have the Q bonus movement speed, but hits a nice Q onto 2 heroes, which makes it do bonus damage. And now he's running at 442 movement speed without phase boots active, 517 with the phase boots, and it's extremely easy to chase people down as he finishes off the Tusk and gets the sniper as well. Just a really nice set of plays. But what I particularly like about his gameplay is he died before, I didn't show it, but he played pretty passive until the phase boots. And I like that. The reason why I like it is this is the timing where you can close the gap between you and the sniper really quickly, and he won't just do 150 health to you before you even get to hit him once. You know what I mean? So try to keep that in mind, guys, when you're playing Legion against any of these heroes. Make sure you close the gap before going in. It's very, very important. So the first item he buys, which not everyone buys here, is a Falcon Blade. And that can be your first item if you're really owning. And the reason why I don't mind it is it gives you mana regen. That, of course, allows you to spam the abilities. Legion actually has a problem spamming because they cost a lot of mana. 110 for your overwhelming odds and 110 for prestige attack is pretty brutal, you know, so having Falcon Blade definitely helps with that. I will admit I'm a bit skeptical of Falcon Blade. I personally think that going something like Wraithband, Magic Wand, and then Raindrops, which cost about the same amount of gold. In fact, it's cheaper if you don't buy the Bracer. I personally think it's better because I think Wand is an insane item. It's really good when you're going to fight a lot, which Legion tends to do. And then I think the Wraithband's good for the reasons I mentioned. And the damage you get from Falcon Blade, it's okay, because Prestige Attack gives attack speed and Moment of Courage is sort of attack speed, but I don't super love it. So yeah, if you're going to be spamming your Q, it's a good item for mana, but I would just keep in mind that I think Rushing Blade Mail is a little bit better on average. And really the main thing I want you guys to keep in mind if you do play this hero or opt to play this hero is you should be playing to dominate the lane, right? Unfortunately, I don't know what that was. But you usually want to try to take your bottom tower. Of course, I particularly recommend if you want to get really, really advanced, if you want to make a high skill play, let's say when he respawns here, his best option is to get a +1 hero, right? Legion Commander has a very hard time solo killing anyone. And so if you pick this hero, you need to understand that. Early game, you don't kill people. Mid to late game, no problem. You have your Blade Mail, maybe, 40 bonus dual damage, whatever it is, you can kill people, no problem. However, in the early game, you can't. So when you're going bottom, as much as he is, and when he's trying to lane against the sniper, what heroes would he want with him? Well, maybe a good rotation from the Lich. That one's okay, not the greatest cast range. Batrider and Snapfire are his best options this game, because they're burst damage that can either close the gap on the sniper with the cookie or the lasso, or just, Snapfire ulti. So he opts to jungle here, playing the very passive route. I don't hate it. His team was having a good game this game, so he can take the passive farm and recover, and that's definitely an option, but in your average pub, try your best to stay in your lane for as long as you can, take the safe lane tower, and get your Blade Mail as soon as possible, as you'll see him farm up mid here and eventually get to the Blade Mail. And then when you get Blade Mail, Legion becomes a completely different hero, because basically you can actually run in. And that's why I really don't like Blink on Legion. Yes, it's okay some games. I think it's particularly okay if you have like a Skywrath on your team or a Hoodwink, these low cooldown, high damage nukes that can follow up the duel. But like this game, that doesn't exist on his team. There's decent follow-up, don't get me wrong, but it's high cooldown, so he can't just like constantly blink duel people. You know what I mean? He's just not gonna have the damage. Often he just won't have the damage. So I really prefer the Blade Mail, especially against Willow, who has Bedlam, hard countered by Blade Mail, Shrapnel and autos from Sniper, Overgrowth and Nature's Grasp from Treant when he casts that. Trample is incredible. Tusk is not that good, but the other four heroes, it's really nice to have the Blade Mail to protect yourself, particularly the Sniper as he hits a big Q here, press the attack, going for the duel actually onto the Primal does find him. With the Blade Mail active, you can see it's very powerful and it lasts the entirety of the duel with the buff, right? Even if you pop it before the duel, it used to not last necessarily the whole time because you would lose some of the duration when casting duel or running up. That's no longer the case. And yeah, it really makes the item much better. So in this game, he ends up getting a 16-minute or maybe about a 17-minute Blink Blade Mail. Not a bad timing. When you get this, I recommend popping a smoke or of course running to the nearby fight. Here he drops a nice Q onto the Willow to take the kill, press the attack and Blade Mail onto the Tusk, and he gets some nice dual damage. You don't have to make it complex. You don't have to always go for the big kills with your Blade Mail reveal. It's much better to just build up that dual damage. Now I will say he actually opted to max press the attack here instead of going for the 8 bonus dual damage. I personally love the 8 bonus dual damage. I think it makes a big difference. And yes, having maxed out press the attack is fantastic, as your hero hits really hard when you have this Blade Mail Falcon Blade. You definitely have a lot of just straight up damage, which makes the attack speed much more valuable. So I get it. I definitely get it. As this is insane. Look at him go. He's just diving. One of the, considering the Blade Mail lasts longer as well, it technically comes up 1 second faster as well, which is a big deal, right? Everything kind of comes together for this hero. I really do believe that it's much, much better this patch as a result of some of these buffs. And as the fight continues on, he can even just go in and auto attack. And this is the nice thing about getting that Blade Mail early. To be fair, he has Blink now, so it sort of doesn't matter, but the Blade Mail early allows you to take these skirmishes and not worry too much even if you don't have duel. Now at this point in the game, this is where Legion becomes a real problem if you don't shut her down. I will admit, I think the hero can have a bit trouble when it comes to team fighting, which is why I like the play that Death is making here. Basically, he's opening up the map and trying to look for a pickoff onto the sniper. Unfortunately, sniper, oh, he was not looking at the minimap. The sniper definitely saw him, right? Sniper's probably, yeah, sniper definitely saw him, like, what? Yeah, sniper, okay, sniper definitely saw him, so that was a bit suspect. He definitely should be sitting behind these trees here. Like, I don't think he would be in vision right here necessarily, so bit of a mistake, because he did have a kill there. If he didn't show on the sniper, I think he was fine, but he's expecting sniper to push this out, but unfortunately, sniper saw him. So I really like this play, besides the fact that he showed. But yeah, it's a really nice play, and you should be, like, a big thing to keep in mind, guys, the best way to get free duel damage is by going to the creep wave that is furthest pushed in. So whatever creep wave is closest to the enemy tower, that is often the creep wave that will enable you to get a duel kill, because the enemy thinks, oh, it's safe, it's close to my tower. But of course, if you kill them in 3 seconds, it's not going to matter. TPs are not even going to come in on time, and so you can get a really, really nice kill. As he goes for BKB next. I love the BKB here. Keep it simple. A lot of people will buy like Deso or some BS like Ags. You don't need to do that as they pop a smoke. Of course, once you have a lot of dual damage and Blade Mail, you can even solo smoke. In pubs, if your teammates aren't buying it, I would highly recommend solo smoking when you have that Blink Blade Mail and some dual damage. Especially if you know you can solo kill the carry, which he certainly can here. Okay, a little bit of help from Lich. But yeah, it's great to smoke. Of course, his team comes over here. But if you can get a read that the enemy carry is splitting up from his team, and they're playing a sniper, a PA, whatever it is, Sven, and you can get that solo kill, these are the best plays you can make, because it's going to give you a disturbing amount of XP and gold anytime you get a solo kill in Dota. It's just so massive, as he eviscerates the tier 1 tower, completely destroying it. And now he can look to get active again. Duel being such a low cooldown, he looks on the top side of the map for this Primal Beast, doesn't find him. Maybe he'll show here, yeah. The enemy team kind of knew where he was, so I don't mind him showing. He also was close to the Blade Mail. Okay, no, I'm sorry. He already had BKB, so he didn't really need to show for that reason. But he's going to go deep here. Could even, I mean, this could be a bait, I will admit. He has the BKB to disengage. But, okay, yeah, he might have the BKB to be safe. No, the Primal TP bottom, but, oh, he doesn't even get the kill. Wow, actually, that Tusk way tankier than you would expect. Really, the big thing there is the Blade Mail doesn't do much against a pretty underfarmed Tusk, as he'll shift over here. And yeah, at this point, when you don't have duel, honestly, I generally recommend farming and just taking towers and doing exactly what he's doing here. Of course, you have to be careful about taking towers when you don't have duel, because you're relatively weak. Like, Legion's biggest problem is she generally gets kited when duel is on cooldown, as we're going to see a Mortimer's Kiss onto the support. He can BKB duel here. Definitely could. Oh, he wussed it out. All right. He got punished, unfortunately, as he queues up the Refresher. Really? Is this a genuine? You don't have mana for, I mean, I guess you do. Blink Blade Mail, Blink BKB Blade Mail duel Refresher. I guess you do have mana for that, actually. Interesting. You know what? I kind of like it, because you're gonna start taking stats now, so your mana pool is gonna get helped a bit. You're gonna have the mana regen, so you'll be topped off on mana because of the perseverances. Ooh, did he sell a wand? What did he sell? Bracer? I don't know about that. That's a doubled bracer, which is 4 int, and your mana pool kind of sucks. I wonder if it'll be fine anyway, as they find the sniper bottom. And now we're gonna see a high ground attempt come out from them, and yeah, this is. And once you have the BKB, it's very straightforward. You're gonna press the attack, BKB Blade Mail. I think it's better to BKB first, just to make sure that if the enemy does happen to see you, if you're gonna click your buttons, maybe you might mess up and forget the BKB. So try to make it a priority to use your BKB, then press the attack, then Blade Mail. I think I even said it wrong before, but you get the point. Pop that BKB first, be safe, make sure your blink doesn't get canceled by some random nuke flying your direction. Maybe it's a shrapnel, whatever it is. And so yeah, even here, he doesn't actually BKB, which I think is a mistake. If in a team fight, I know he's way ahead, but like they have a lot of magic damage, right? They have the Primal, the Willow, etc. When you're ahead, just get the kill, secure the kill. Of course, in some games in Dota, it's optimized to hold the BKB. Like technically here, you can argue it was better that he did. And yes, you would be right. But 9 times out of 10, guys, just don't take the risk. You don't want to get chain stunned or nightmared or astral or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, don't let them cast their defensive spells on you or their stuns or their magic damage for that matter and chain stun you out of the duel. You're you're a stationary target. So don't love that he didn't BKB there, I will say, but yeah, as he just completely chops everyone down. And now the refresher's completed. Let's watch the next fight with the refresher, and I have a feeling this game is done as it's 59 to 18. All right, so refresher comes out. I guess he does have the mana. He took stats, not surprisingly, because you have to. As he's gonna blink duel. Doesn't have the BKB here, so that's probably fine. This will take him out. Does he instantly refresh for double the duel damage? Okay, so you do have mana problems. Kind of. It seems like he got everything off, but you could have mana problems. Let's be real. This looks sus. He has 400 mana. If he pops the refresher, he can Blade Mail duel, and that's it. He even barely had mana for duel. The mana regen gave him enough. But yeah, I mean, that's one way to get more duel damage. The other item I've seen that's really kind of a meme is Octarine, which is not terrible. It lowers the cooldown of Blade Mail, Blink, BKB, your neutral item, press the attack, overwhelming, like all your actives, obviously. So it's kind of interesting. I think typically the most reliable. I actually really like this though. I will admit, I was gonna say the most reliable way to play is like AC to get attack speed to synergize with your, your dual damage. You also destroy buildings, and your armor's not that great, so it's kind of nice. But I will say the refresher, I kind of like it, especially if you take a neutral item that gives you mana, maybe a Pupil's Gift, something like that, and you get some mana. Pupil's Gift is actually great for this example. You get some mana, you can easily get 2 duels off and 2 BKBs off, and Legion typically gets kited very hard when she doesn't have BKB because she's an auto attack hero. All of her spells just make her auto attack. It's very easy to kite those types of heroes with whatever disables you have, or Force Staffs or Ghost Scepters. But the double duel, really the big thing about the refresher is actually the double BKB. The duel is great too, don't get me wrong, obviously that's a big part of it, but yeah, the double BKB is huge and they end the game. But alright, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one, and I'm out. Peace!
And that's all, but remember, before you leave, come on, before you tune out, subscribe to the Game Leap website where we are going to help you get to the next rank. If you're stuck, click the link down below, and I'm out. Peace!